Hello, it's time to ramble about some bosses again. Now, I don't like the chapter 15 boss. Shocking, I know, the guy with no DPS doesn't like the DPS check. But even though I don't like fighting it, I think there's some interesting things about this boss design worth talking about. I've talked very often on stream about how, as the power creep in Arknights increases, it's going to become increasingly difficult to make content that's engaging for both the new 6 stars and all the older operators. And I think this boss is an interesting take for that idea. No idea whether it was intentional or not, that's a borderline religious question as far as I'm concerned, but in practice that's what happened. So, the way this works is that it's a DPS check. In 7 minutes you die, but you can't just go and hit the boss. No, you have to kill its stupid flying dog first. Once you kill the dog, you have a window in which you gain a ton of DP, and you can DPS the boss. Both the dog and the boss have massive defense and res. So you know, you're incentivized to just shoot it with Amiya or Caucitus 3, which are by far the best solutions for this. Since 4 stars don't have either, the next best option is Haze and Acid Drop. But there's another mechanic. Every time you hit the boss, it's going to respawn the dog a little faster and become invincible again. So Haze is a bit better than Acid Drop, because the dog respawns slower. And here is why that's so useful. The blue things on the floor apply a debuff. If the hand presses them, the debuff is applied to your operators. If you press them, you apply the debuff to enemies. It reduces defense and res by half, so it makes the super tanky dog rather easily killable with arts damage. If we only shoot it with Haze and don't use anything else, it takes so long that we can abuse the devices to bully the hunt. Because the hunt prioritizes the devices over manipulating the dog, it's going to end up forgetting to lift it up for most of the time, which makes it easier to kill it. This is part of why I don't like fighting this boss. At least for me it feels like if I play the stage correctly, the boss just doesn't do anything. It just sits there and gets hit for a few minutes. But I think it's an interesting way to balance it, because if I bring a bunch of 6 stars and just throw operators at it randomly to shoot at the boss during the window, even if they should have way higher DPS, by using a bunch of 6 stars together I might underperform, because they might close the window faster. Like say if you point an Exe or something at it, it's going to instantly close the window. A lot of good 6 stars have a bunch of hit count mechanics, and that makes them very inefficient against the boss itself. You can still use them in the fight, of course. You just use a bunch of 6 stars to shoot the dog, and then 1 6 star to shoot at the boss. Because if you overkill the boss, it shortens your windows and then you have to deal with the dog, and your skill cooldowns might not line up well. It's an interesting idea. So if you're just swappy and throwing DPS around, it makes the fight way harder than it needs to be. While on the other hand, if you use a more controlled DPS like say Amiya S3 as the only thing to shoot the boss, it makes for an easy cleanup. Definitely an interesting way to balance it. The only thing that I kind of dislike is that that's the only thing you have to do in the fight. Once you've set up correctly, the boss just doesn't do anything because the dog is its only tool and the dog dies instantly. To be fair, there should be a whole second wave on this map that I cheesed so it doesn't spawn with Gummy. But, you know, if they didn't want it to be cheesed, they shouldn't have put a kill gauge there. If you want to do that yourself, you need to kill the dog really fast, at least the first time, and then keep one enemy alive. Doesn't matter what enemy you keep alive. I've used the golem, the ghosts, and the vending machines for it. Back when I played this map on CN, I got to 9 operators. I was super disappointed with it, with the acid drop version you may have seen before. But I wanted to play some EN events, so I didn't spend more time on it. The CN Mutunada simp did this version, and I wanted to show it off, hence this video. I think it's a really cool idea to just kill the boss very slowly, so the platforms can basically stunwalk the dog, even though that's not their function. He also did H15-4, though I'll try to make my own version of that once it's out in a week or so. Rest of the map is just cleanup, and with every DPS operator free to point at the bottom, they all die before they can group up. Since we have haste to reduce the rest, we don't even need the platforms to help out. Looks a bit scary, because we have limited block, but hey, that's why Gum is there. And that's it. Time to do the level 2 stages today.
Mission accomplished. Phew. I'm exhausted. I want to go lie down, Doctor.